something very important just popped on my radar, and that is Prophet TB Joshua speaking about the vaccine.
We lost at some point.
Prophet TB Joshua
Okay.
speaking up about the vaccine. This is definitely something you all want to hear about. So, let's discuss this. First of all, one more time, a big congratulations to Joe Biden and a big bye-bye to Donald Trump.
Wow.
Yes, bye. Donald, I hope he doesn't get jail time. We all need to understand that this man overdid so many things and there's a huge possibility of him getting jail time. Now, TB Joshua right here. Was a story as seen on Instablog Niger. TB Joshua, that's Prophet TB Joshua, says there's nothing wrong with taking the COVID-19 vaccine. Prophet TB Joshua of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, Koan, has bared his mind for the first time on the COVID-19 vaccine. The cleric said there was nothing wrong with the vaccine, adding that it was the government's way of seeking solution to the pandemic. Concerning the ongoing situation in the world, I have received thousands of emails on the COVID-19 vaccine. No doubt there are many conspiracy theories surrounding this vaccine. However, my belief is that our government are trying to look for a way out of this very challenging situation. Although they may be bad faith in certain quarters, he said. Big shout out to Prophet TB Joshua. What I want to see now is those 5G pastors.
We don't have the 5G pastors as our problem. What about some smart leaders? Some people that are actually bullying.
Forget leaders. You guys don't understand. I was watching a conference with the Minister of Education. The Minister of Education said the schools put pressure on them to reopen, that they did not want to reopen.
I read that as well.
You guys don't understand how powerful a religious leader in today's Nigeria is. They can twist the arm of the government. They can twist the arm of the government. So some people are saying, hey, it's not religious leader. Listen, a religious leader, this thing is, what's that? KoolAid Guy. What's that KoolAid Guy's name again? And that here's another assignment. That the freeze way down the old. Don't forget that KoolAid Guy. That KoolAid pastor. And I can see that typing quickly going to Google. Another JP Morgan loading. Quick. People watching me live. What's the KoolAid pastor? Jim Jones. My memory came back. Jim Jones. You see, the religion in Nigeria is a Jim Jones situation. It's not getting there. It is there already. Where the cult of personality has used religion to embellish for legendary embellishment and turned regular human beings into gods. You need to understand today, take it from me, write it down, scratch it on the wall just in case you lose the paper on which it's written. An average religious leader is more powerful than a governor. more powerful. And it is what you call in aviation subtle incapacitation. When you're flying into hypoxia, there's what you call subtle incapacitation. You don't know when the lack of oxygen sets in, numbs you out, and passes you out. It takes control. It takes over in a very subtle way. You are not even in control. You see, a government will come out and enforce. A pastor will come out and pick your brain and plug in USB into your brain and just type in and reprogram and reformat your brain with one sentence. And it is dangerous. It is dangerous to continue to allow these people to speak. That is why I have given, over the last few months, Pastor Adeboye so much credit. You don't know what damage Pastor Adeboye could have done by just coming on his pulpit and just making one statement in this pandemic. Now, abroad, the Attorney General, as I'm speaking to you this minute, is waiting for Donald Trump. Let them do this, their inauguration, finish. Maybe they'll give him 1 week max. That Donald Trump will not go to jail. Now small it will remain. Do you understand what I'm saying, Ada? Mm-hmm. That Donald Trump will miss sell. It will be the grace of God. He will miss it by his whiskers. I'm telling you, it's not wow. Capitol Hill was treason. I don't know how they are going to try it. I'm not a lawyer, but from the little understanding I have of law, he might escape all that COVID, what is it called? But Capitol Hill? I want to see how he wants to. I want to see the lawyer he wants to hire. Maybe hire a Russian lawyer. And they will now take the case and try it in Moscow. But that they will try this case in America for Capitol Hill. At best, he'll get a suspended sentence. And it will be on his, at best. What did you say?
I think he might get that, but jail.
And then let's put money on it. Trump will go prison.
I doubt that it is.
Unless he has immunity, presidential immunity.
That's what you should look at.
I doubt it too, because America also wants to say they know what they went through in the hands of this guy, especially with regards to tax and money laundering. They will not. He might. Let me tell you, as far as I'm concerned, tax, money laundering, and Capitol Hill. For me, he will have to be a genius to miss it. Of course, he has his immunity and all that, but they also want to show. Now, here's the thing, yeah. All the things, all the incitement and inciting statements that come from behind pulpits, nobody can hold a pastor in Nigeria. You dare not pick any major Jew. You cannot. If you do it, if DSS wants to pick a major Jew, they will go codedly. It will be a covert operation. They can never do it publicly. The moment they do it publicly, if his whole church members decide to stand on the road and say you are not going to pass, nobody can pass. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So when you now have people like Pastor Adeboye who have decided to show, they know the power they have, and they have decided to show conscience. Do you know that statements coming from people like Adeboye can either ignite the people or pacify them? You don't know how far this TB Joshua statement will go in a country where people believe that vaccine is bad, but the milk they are drinking is good. The juice they are importing from abroad is good. They are here saying, look at this vaccine. Vaccine is this. Vaccine is that. The vaccines you've been collecting as a child. By now, all of them are supposed to turn to frog. Ada, am I lying? There was a governor, one whole governor was saying there is no vaccine for headache. There is no vaccine for malaria. Is malaria a virus? Is malaria caused by a virus? We are talking about an RNA virus. The only thing that you can bring out now as an example is HIV, because HIV is another RNA virus. You can't bring cancer because cancer is a combination of diseases. There are many, and guess what? The cancers that are caused by viruses, 2 of them actually have vaccines. One is hepatitis B and hepatitis C that leads to liver cancer, and 2 is the human papilloma virus, or HPV, that leads to cervical cancer. They both have vaccines. So what am I trying to say in essence? If you came out with the whole HIV, the difference with HIV and COVID-19 is one, people have recovered from COVID-19. So they have the they have the immune response of people who have recovered from COVID-19 as a slate to work with. No human being has recovered from HIV/AIDS or shown an immune response to HIV/AIDS, except those people who have that deficiency in their CD4 cells. And guess what? If you can get a bone marrow transplant from people like that, you can actually cure HIV/AIDS in theory. And it has happened. There was one particular guy who was undergoing, he was suffering from leukemia. And then he had a bone marrow transplant from one of those people who have that rare genetic mutation that keeps them immune from HIV infection. And his bone marrow was, the bone marrow of that person was transplanted into him, and thereby he was cured of his previous HIV infection. But you can't do this on a commercial basis. You can't just get people who have that deficiency, bring out their bone marrow and transplant it into everybody else, so you make them resistant to the HIV virus. So we're dealing with different things. Now, HIV is transmitted through blood transfusion. You can kiss someone with HIV if you don't have cuts in the mouth and not get the virus. You can share toilet. You dare not share toilet with someone who actively is spreading COVID-19 and not catch the virus. You can talk to someone and catch COVID. You can hug someone with HIV and not catch HIV. If you like, wear 17 rubbers, you will still catch COVID. Meanwhile, rubber gives you a high level of protection. Of course, not 100%, but a high level of protection from HIV/AIDS. So these are the things we need to keep in mind. But you see, you have a pastor that will come up. I want to ask you, how come no one has challenged all those pastors that said COVID-19 was caused by 5G? How come no one has challenged these people? Don't take the vaccine. You're going to turn into a robot. I want to ask you today, Christ died and resurrected for you to have free salvation. Meanwhile, you are paying a monthly subscription for your own faith. Monthly subscription, like as if you are doing DSTV. 10% of your monthly salary you are using to buy a faith that Peter and Paul did not need to contribute 10% of their own salary for. 2,000 years ago, Peter and Paul did not pay for it. You are paying for it today. And you are saying somebody is a robot, or vaccine wants to turn person to a robot. Are you not a robot? I want to ask you, your whole January salary, after not working in the middle of a pandemic the whole of 2020, you now wake up in 2021, the first month that you work in this 2021, you want to carry the salary and go and give pastor, and you are not a robot. It is vaccine that wants to turn you into what you already are. Let me tell you, you are a zombie. Vaccine is an upgrade. You will become a robot. Robot better pass zombie. Oh. Robot get remote control. Zombie no get to. Zombie, oh, zombie, zombie, oh, zombie, zombie. No. You said I was going to bring it here, and I said I was going to bring it. We need to tell ourselves the truth. Oh, we need to. They tell you, say 5G, now they cause COVID. Meanwhile, COVID, they catch people for village where 5G no dey. Let me ask you a question. Does Nigeria have 5G?
Not yet.
But we have COVID. How did the COVID get here? Through the 4G? Or is it the 2G that they are marketing to us as 4G that is giving us this COVID? And like zombie, you go get up, you go clap for the pastor. Hey, Father, you have spoken. And the worst thing is, at least Donald Trump, they go carry go trial to be accountable for the things he said. Your pastors, who is holding them, who dares hold them accountable? They've become gods. One pastor got up and said COVID-19 is from the pit of hell, is a lie from the pit of hell. Do you know how many people died just because they believed that? I don't know the version of Christianity they preach. Because the scriptures say Timothy was often ill. He had stomach problem. Let me read it to you. Let me read it to you. 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 23. I'm reading from the New Living Translation. Don't drink only water. You ought to drink a little wine for the sake of your stomach, because you are sick so often. Timothy was sick so often. Paul did not pray for him. Paul told him to drink wine. He gave him a logical solution. Where is the spiritual solution in drinking wine? Why? Ask yourself why. Because their water those days was not as clean as wine that contained alcohol. You are less likely to be contaminated by wine than by water, because the water supply those days was terrible. It's nothing compared to the water supply we have today. So if Paul could employ a logical solution to a logical problem, why would somebody tell you that a disease does not exist? And then everybody in the congregation is hailing these people. So I really appreciate. You guys will say, Daddy Freeze, why are you praising TB Joshua? Blah, blah, blah. You don't understand. If you saw what I am seeing from where I am sitting down, You will drive to Redeem Camp tomorrow morning and kneel down in front of Adeboye and say, Adeboye, Pastor Adeboye, for what you have done with this COVID, may God bless you. Then you will drive to Skoan of all nations and go and look for Prophet TB Joshua and kneel down in front of him again and say, Prophet, for what you have said about these vaccines, may God bless you. Aside these two people, it is hard to find any pastor that is not thinking of, you see, listen here. I want you to know how much this COVID-19 has affected these pastors regarding their congregations. There are many things that they want to do, they cannot do. So you know what they did, and what to me is the deepest thing in this is they put their congregation and the nation ahead of their personal interests. Do you understand what I'm saying? They took their congregation and they took the public and they put the congregation and the public, at least on this COVID-19 matter, they put them over personal interest. They did not sit down and say, oh my God, what do I stand to lose? They said, oh my God, what do these people stand to lose? And they said, you know what, in this instance, we're going to speak the truth. Nigeria does not want to wear masks. Nigeria does not want to social distance. And then you also don't want vaccine. But you are the first to want to go back to work. Just look at what happened in December last year. Look at the beaches. Do you know how many people died just because of the Christmas celebration? Do you know how many people died because of the crowds that were gathering throughout, needlessly so? Look at, I'll take Paul Adefarasin for instance. He didn't hold experience, he held experience digitally. Throughout the year, he was either holding restricted services or online services. He had like 3 concerts last year. All of them were online. Guess what? Unfortunately, one of his pastors passed on due to COVID. Now let me tell you, imagine he had done experience and that pastor had passed. How would his conscience have judged him? How do you think people like me, would have interpreted it? The reason why anybody can catch the virus. But when a leader of the faith shows that level of responsibility, cancels a concert and puts it online, he can't follow everybody to everybody's house and say, wear mask, do this. He preaches, leads by example, and then everybody else does what they want. And of course, there will always be casualties. You can't throw a stone into a market and somebody will not shout, yay. It's impossible for you to carry a stone into a busy market and just throw it. And then you not hear, yay, can't hear. It must hit person. But when you intentionally start throwing stones into the market, you're going to have many casualties. So please, this is an opportunity for us to appreciate. You don't know what they could have done like Donald Trump. What stopped them from not wearing masks? Do you realize that each time you see Adeboye, for instance, is either wearing a shield or wearing a mask or social distancing? So that's as far as I can go. Ada, thank you so much for taking your time. I would personally love to take 1 or 2 phone calls if you can permit that.
That is great. Okay, just 1 call.
2, can we do 2 for balance?
No, that is great, just 1. Okay. Hello? Yes, hello? Alright, thank you, Bonnie. Okay. quickly state your point. You have less than a minute.
Yeah, he said he has been talking about tax, money laundering, and capital, capital or capital riot. You see, Donald Trump, before he even came into the presidency, right from time, he never destroyed nothing. And Donald Trump is a businessman. If you understand very well, in the US, there are some tax codes that people take as businessmen take advantage of. Mostly builders and real estate agents. Those are doing level into housing. Donald Trump is a major businessman into building.
Okay, let's round off because we really don't have time. We could have done 2 calls on this guy's only 1 long call.
There's that tax because of
Alright, so quickly, what point do you want to make right now?
what I'm saying. There has never been any issue about Donald Trump tax proven now.
Okay.
Okay, we've gotten that point. And sadly we missed out. We could have taken another. If you see the way I'm sweating, as in I'm gingered.
35. We can continue tomorrow. Alright, you're 45 minutes into.
All right, 45 minutes into your time, but hey, I only had 45 minutes for my show today. Can you imagine? Only 45 minutes for Live and Dangerous on inauguration day. Who does that to Live and Dangerous? Who does that to Live and Dangerous? When people want to talk about Donald Trump, when people want...
35, let's continue tomorrow, alright?
All right. Take care.
Alright, take care of yourself. Good night. Okay, so.
I'm eventually calming down. You guys don't understand how this thing they ginger me. You see, I've come to a realization where I know I will not be on the same page with many pastors with regards religious doctrine. I know my revelations, my understanding, and the scholarly approach I bring to our faith is going to be, it's not going to coincide with the approach the church uses. But that doesn't mean that I will see the truth coming from the church and I'll deny it. I can't deny it. I need to also respect those people. You see, let me tell you something. Christianity is love. At the end of the day, do you pay tithes? Do you not pay tithes? At the end of the day, it boils down to one thing called love. If you love your neighbor, you will not gather them and expose them to COVID without taking necessary precautions. I went to GT Bank today to do a transaction. I was held outside for 1 hour. Even though I was rushing, even though I was angry, I was still glad to see the protocols they're observing. We need to understand that if you really love your neighbor as yourself, which is the pivotal doctrine in Christianity, you will not expose them. You will not gather them in a building and do a service and tell them that COVID-19 is a lie. You will not do it. Somebody's asking me, when am I going to talk about Fauci and Bill Gates bringing on the pandemic? Are you joking? Are you really joking? The pandemic in 1918, was it Fauci and Bill Gates that brought it? You need to understand that these RNA viruses were going somewhere, these coronaviruses were going somewhere. When it started with SARS and MERS and all those things, you need to understand that it was evolving. And it was jumping species from bats to humans. So listen, my dear brother Leroy, I'm going to block you because I don't tolerate this conspiracy theory nonsense. they brought the pandemic. Can you prove that they brought the pandemic? You go and be reciting one comedian on the internet that is doing comedy service and you people are taking him serious. Where is that comedian, Robert O. Young, I mean, what's his name, that was saying that Bill Gates wants to depopulate the world? Meanwhile, only him has killed like 3 people. There was a woman that he took off breast cancer medication and started giving her tea and all those his nonsense. Did the woman not die? Uncle Leroy, I will block you. Is one button. So just keep quiet and listen, or go to bed by yourself. Use your own hand and end the video. Make a no end down for you. Make it no turn rapture. This nonsense is what you did last year and people died. Bill Gates wants to end the world. Bill Gates wants to end the world, and he cured wild polio in Africa. Wild polio has been eradicated in Africa as we speak, and Bill Gates was behind it. Stop listening to conspiracy theories and start researching facts. Start researching facts. Bill Gates has done more for Africa than religion. I would say it on both sides, on every side, plus our local religion, all the religions put together. Bill Gates has done more for Africa. And if we talk now, you people turn it into another thing. Something gladdened my heart as I officially round off, because it's a very, very busy day for us all. Joe Biden actually called the Nigerian family and thanked them for their support and invited them to the White House. Here is the call. I'll play a little bit of it.
Yes, Josephine, President Biden.
Oh,
Talk.
hi, I'm Josephine.
How are you doing?
Thank you.
Getting old.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, 3 younger sisters.
Yeah, beaches, fences, and kitchen.
Catherine.
Yes.
Well, this is my wife is the oldest of 5 daughters.
Oh, wow.
So that's a Nigerian couple. I'm not going to be able to play all of it. It's 11 minutes long. But congratulations to this wonderful couple. They got invited to the White House for supporting Joe Biden. Let's hope that Joe Biden does things in our favor. Already, my daughter Marachi was telling me that Joe Biden has the most racially... his team is I don't know how Amarachi put it again, I'm tired. Even more than Obama's team. He has people from different races, across different races. Someone just letting us know that the UK has recorded 1,820 losses to COVID. Thank you, diverse. That's a good word. Leroy, good night. I thought you love to argue, right? When he was predicting about it, how did he know about it? You see, my problem with you is your IQ is low. You're dealing with Bill Gates. Bill Gates is near genius. What his mind can comprehend. Let me ask you a question. When I said this year will be rugged, why are they not holding me? Was the year not rugged? Was it not the most rugged year of your life? How did I predict it? Simple. My brain is more advanced than yours. Don't let me have to tell this to you publicly. The way my brain figures things out is not the way your brain figures. Your brain relies on little information. My brain can store data for 10 years and start arranging everything and come out with accurate predictions. Go and look at all my predictions. Accurate predictions. I can easily, in my mind, outline a pattern. Bill Gates has worked with data for so many years. Do you know that there are many economists that use Bill Gates' data on vaccination when they want to do things that are not even related to disease. My sister is an economist. She has a PhD in economics. She told me that, do you know that we use Bill Gates' data just because he can sit down and come out with an algorithm that will give you a very accurate prediction of the future with regards to things like diseases. This one is saying, which brain do you have? What have you achieved in life? Hey, Ambassador Ruben. Wait, I won't tell you this night. Only you for begin they find. But I will just block you. What have I achieved in life? There's one thing I've achieved that no one before me was able to. I was able to redefine the way Nigerians reacted to religion. You need to give me credit for that. I was able to redefine the perception of Nigerians towards religion. Meanwhile, what have you achieved in your life? I'm sure you are talking about money. Baba, I get money past you. Forget it. Make I even make mouth. I get money past you. But to me, money is nothing. You're asking about my achievements? I led a whole country out of mental slavery. And the next generation will thank me for it. Now go to bed. And can everybody here tell Ambassador Ruben to go to bed? I'm not going to say a single word. Leroy, go away from here. Your mates no day here. Go and pluck mango in the compound next to your house. Go to bed. I want you all to tell him to go to bed, and I want him to go to bed. Calling himself Ambassador Ruben. Your mates no day here. Go and hawk flyers in traffic. Leroy don't go. I don't chase Leroy since. Leroy, we no one get sense. What have I achieved? What I have achieved, your pastors have not achieved. And the next 100 years, you will see I laid the groundwork, the foundation for religious liberation in this country. 100 years from now, they are laughing at me. They didn't know that those they are big buildings they are building up, and a nightclub you go end for. So thank you so much, everyone. Take care, and God bless you. And once again, a big shout out to all those pastors who have not made COVID-19 a more difficult virus to live with. Adeboye, TB Joshua on the vaccine issue, Ade Farasin, all of them. You see, the public is watching you guys, and we are grateful. Even though it looks like I don't support you, but don't get me wrong. I appreciate you for what you have done for humanity over COVID-19. I pray for you people every day. Because the power you have, I don't have. I don't have 10 million followers. 100 and something people watching me. By the time I post it, maybe overall I'll get maybe 40,000 views if you add all the platforms, Facebook, YouTube. If this were Pastor Adeboye doing a live video, I'll probably have 2 million people. By the time they share it on WhatsApp, share it here. So I know I don't have their power. And when they have the power and they use it responsibly, it is our duty to commend them and encourage them, because you don't realize how many people are putting pressure under them. You don't realize how many people are putting pressure under them to keep quiet, that they are spoiling the thing for them. You don't realize it. You don't realize how many people are going to go against them and say, how dare you, a man of God? How dare you start using logic? You don't know what these people go through. And some people might just decide, you know what, I don't want any trouble. I'll just keep quiet over this COVID matter. Or you know what, let me just follow the bandwagon. Even though in their heart, they know that the bandwagon is wrong. But just because they don't want that drama, they don't want somebody calling them up. Do you know how many pastors, younger pastors, will be rude to their elders over this COVID-19 matter? So when an elder comes out and speaks, let me tell you, as Adeboye has taken a stand like this, just know that people will queue behind him in their millions. So we need to encourage them. Let them know that there are people who appreciate them, even if we don't share a doctrinal belief system, or we don't collide or coincide in our understanding of the faith. But one thing, let me tell you, Christianity is love, first of all. And God recognizes all acts of love, whether they are from pagans or Buddhists or any other religion. Let alone when a Christian brother shows love by standing with the truth against all odds. If you will not recognize them, I personally will. Thank you so much, TB Joshua, for coming out to speak on the vaccine and clearing the doubts of many. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you. And I'm looking forward for all my American brothers and sisters. Congratulations on your inauguration. Trump couldn't stop it. And that shows that, I'm sorry to say this, but I'm going a bit in the faith now. The devil no get power over you. God bless.